Howdy, 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 guys. How are y'all doing? A good Monday to y'all. The second Monday of August. Man, we're just going through this year so quick. It is absolutely amazing. We're going through Big Brother as well. Did y'all realize we just finished up night 33 of Big Brother? They said there's 86 nights, I think, or 86 days in this season. So we're more than a third of the way through, right? Guys, it's getting fun. I'm going to start. I know we're going to talk a lot about Big Brother tonight, so I'm going to start right off by saying welcome to all of y'all. Yeah, I got to start by SKD 143, right? I almost forgot that. I love my wife, love my kids, and love all the reality fans out there, the Big Brother fans especially. Welcome to all of y'all. I want to start off, though. We are going to talk about Big Brother. For those of you who are watching live, for those of you who are coming in a little bit later, I try to make this a spoiler-free show when we're talking about Big Brother. I don't want to talk beyond what's been shown on the last episode because not everyone knows when they start watching this show what's happened beyond that point. So I'm going spoiler-free. But if you're watching this and you don't want to find out what may have happened since the last episode, be careful about reading the comments over here because I have a feeling there may be some mentions here and there about some of the stuff that's happened. So you've been warned, right? It's getting exciting though. That's all I'll say. Well, I'll say more than that, but I'm not going to give a lot of really detailed stuff for that reason alone. But yeah, it's getting a lot of fun. So I hope everyone is doing fantastic. Who all's out here? I'd see you all. Steve, Don, Parker, Brian, Keith, Marion, Amanda Lowe, David, Ma. Lauren Lewis, Angie, Hattie, Angie, Barbara McGee, Paula Scar, Andy W. Welcome to all of y'all. So happy here, have y'all here. It was, and Chubby Bunny as well. Hey, Chubby. Such a crazy weekend. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. I don't know if y'all knew about the Big Brother boxing going on, but it wasn't just Big Brother on TV. My life over the last few days has been 24-hour Big Brother everything. So we'll talk about that. Had a lot of fun. So we might as well. Well, no, I don't want to bury. I was gonna say bury the lead, but the lead is probably Big Brother 23, right? But before I get into that, I always do this day in history or special things about today and all of that. Well, guess what today is? I give you a hint. You can see by the background. Started in 1950 in Corpus Christi, Texas, which is a little south, a lot south of Houston. Yeah, we're such a big state. You got to go south from Houston, 4 hours or so, 4.5 hours to get to Corpus Christi. You got to go another 4 or 5 hours to get to the southern tip of the border with Texas. So we're at least 10 hours away from the border. But you go down to Corpus Christi, 1950, the very first Whataburger restaurant opened up, and little before my time, a little bit, but they started then. This is a 71st birthday for Whataburger, and I'm excited about it. I've told y'all before, when I was inside the Big Brother house, it wasn't that the food was bad. The food was fine inside there. It's just it was the same food over and over and over again, and I really so much wanted to up in Big Brother Canada, they have the Wendy's restaurant where if you win HOH, you can go order a meal and one of your buddies gets to eat with you. We didn't get that. We didn't get anything of the sort. If they'd had a Whataburger inside the Big Brother house, heck, I may have won HOH every single time just to get the burgers. Forget the $500,000. I just want to get the Whataburger. So now it is a happy birthday to Whataburger, and y'all know me. I like them. So I figured I'd do a special little background just for them. So there you go. Happy birthday, Whataburger. Maybe I'll go get some breakfast taquitos. Do y'all know what breakfast taquitos are? Some people call them breakfast tacos. The same thing. It's flour tortilla with eggs and cheese and sausage in them. Oh, they're so good. You can't get them until 11 o'clock at night at Whataburger. And then when you show up from that point on until the next morning. So good. All right, Parker, I was hoping to come in. Parker's hoping that Jessica signs my hat. I saw Jessica over the weekend and she did sign my hat. I've shown y'all my hat before with all the signatures from my cast. Jessica did not go to the after the finale party. She wanted to get home to her family and all that. I get it, but she didn't sign my hat. Neither did Bella from my cast also. But I took my hat with me up to Dallas-Fort Worth. I got Jessica to sign it. So now I just have to track down Bella to get her to sign it as well. And then I am set. All right, Marion's saying, hope I talk about how the Big Brother fight went. Yeah, I'm going to talk about it. I had so much. Yes, Marion, I definitely am going to talk about the fight that was held on Friday night. All right, let me just look at this because I always get lost in the comments. So We'll see. Karen Ventura, stop posting so late with your coffee. Yeah, I saw your comment on Twitter or Instagram, whatever it was, Karen. Hey, I'm trying, but have a little patience. You gotta stay up watching these feeds and trying to put it all together. It doesn't always make it easy. Now, let me share a little bit of a misadventure with y'all that was made a little interesting. I've got a computer. I do all these, my cliff notes, my morning recaps, everything else. It's amazing how lost you start feeling if you don't have a camera, a phone, or computers and things like that. Well, unfortunately, my laptop had a little difficulty over the weekend. Right before I headed up to Dallas-Fort Worth, half the screen, it just went out. I don't know if something happened to it through too much usage or what. I don't know. It just stopped working. So suddenly I'm trying to scoot everything over and use just half a screen and figure out how I can make things work. Not easy. But the good thing is I was able to order a new laptop screen. Got sent in the mail. Amazon is so great. Gets it there so quick. So I got my new laptop screen, got it in over the weekend, was able to go in, take the old screen off, put the new one on. Works like a charm. So now I get to see all of the beautiful everything. I get to see y'all's comments instead of only seeing the other half of the screen. So but because of that, Karen, it's always tough getting these things done. I want to get them done as quickly as possible, but these house guests are staying up so late some nights, talking and plotting and conspiring. Sometimes it's hard saying, okay, when do I stop and start putting the show together? So I'll try, Karen, but be patient with me. I'm just glad I got a computer that I'm still able to put this together. All right, so let's see what else we got here. Hello from Savannah, Georgia. Paula, Savannah. I've never been to Savannah, but I just love the name. It just sounds like a very fun place to visit. I've been to Georgia, and I like Georgia, but never been to Savannah. All right, let's see. And Ma saying just woke up from a nap. Well, that sounds pretty good to me. All right, Marion, I'll definitely talk about the fight night. Let's see, and I'm seeing one or two little spoilers on here. I'm going to hold off on talking about that. I'm going to catch up here, my friends. Hello from Oklahoma. I spent time, Courtney, in Oklahoma, up in Edmond, Oklahoma. All right, we'll talk about it. So what do y'all think? Have you been to the two-story Whataburger? Katie's asking. No, I didn't know there was such a thing. They've got some new Whataburgers over in Austin. They're fantastic. I've never been to a two-story one. Hey, they're going up in big time, right? That's pretty cool. All right, Katie, I've been to two-story Whataburger. Jeff Mertz, welcome, Jeff. Best friend, how you doing, Jeff? Taquito with cheese is a favorite after the Dixie chicken. Oh, yeah. The Dixie chicken is the big hangout in College Station for Texas A&M University. Go there, play dominoes all night long, play a little pool, listen to a whole lot of country music, and there's a Whataburger in College Station that's a favorite hangout because they're open 24 hours a day. Now, here's the thing. A&M is maroon and white, right? That's our colors for that university. Our big rivals in the state is University of Texas, which is orange and white. Well, we really didn't like the idea of a restaurant coming into College Station whose colors are orange and white. It just didn't make sense. There was a lot of arguing about it and talking about saying, well, maybe the restaurant can come in, but they're going to have to change their building to maroon and white instead. I think they went 50-50. I think they threw some maroon in there as well just to keep us Aggies happy. But yeah, we're hardcore about that kind of stuff. But yeah, nothing like going and hit some breakfast taquitos in the middle of the night. I absolutely agree with that. All right, let's see. Jeannie Carter saying had Whataburger for lunch today. All right. Well, call me jealous. Call me very envious. I was going to get some for lunch, and sometimes things don't just happen. But maybe I'll go hit a late night stack instead. Ma saying you've never had Whataburger. Well, I get it. Now, if you're from Texas and you've never had Whataburger, that's kind of like being a Texan saying, I don't remember the Alamo. You can't do it. Not if you're going to live here in the state of Texas. It just doesn't work. That's like going out and picking bluebonnets or something. You're not allowed to do that. Because I think Ma's over in Virginia or somewhere. So yeah, you've never had Whataburger. We got to figure out a way to ship some to somewhere down the road, or gives you just another excuse to come in and visit Texas. All right. I've talked way too much Whataburger. Y'all don't want to spend an hour talking about Whataburger. Let us talk about Big Brother. Are y'all excited? And it's going to be hard to do without spoilers, but I'm going to talk about it. First of all, Brittany on the block for the third week in a row. I think so. Oh my gosh. I was on the block 6 times, right? So I kind of can empathize with Brittany and what she went through. Even if you think you're safe, when you get on the block, it's horrible. You've got to worry about it. People look at you funny. They don't want to talk to you because you're like the Walking Dead or something. You just don't ever know. And when you're on the block, if you see someone that's going into another room and whispering with each other, you just even more than regular assume they're talking about you. So Brittany and Hannah on the why is that so? No, Brittany and Sarah Beth. Sorry. Been a few days. Now Brittany and Sarah Beth on the block, and we had a big old veto competition on Saturday. And again, I'm not going to spoil it. All I'm going to say is, finally, we've had so many weeks where it seems like from the time nominations were made, we knew who was going home, and everyone in the house knew who was going home, and there was no sense campaigning, and people just hanging around in the backyard like they're just over at Club Med and don't have a care in the world, because they didn't. Not this week. Without giving the results away, not this week. Everyone's a little bit nervous. Everyone's doing some campaigning. I think we're going to see a whole lot of campaigning. We may even see a little bit of fighting, a little bit of arguing that we haven't seen in the house so far. So yeah, I knew it. I knew it was going to get good. It just took a little while for people to build up steam, for people to get too comfortable with things that were going on in there, and now we got it. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. Let's see. All right. Yeah, I'm going to avoid the spoilers, as I said. And let's see what else. All right. Now all right. I can't. I want to talk about so much, but I'm not going to do it. But Susan Walter, you're right. It's finally getting exciting. Now they had the wall competition, right? Now, what do y'all think about the wall competition? I love it just because I think about my competition, and they had a lot of people up there. I think when we did it, there were only 7 or 8 of us left, whereas they have 12 people. So a lot more people sitting up on that wall. 11 people were on the wall for these guys, and they stayed up there. I think Derek stayed up there for 9 minutes. Well, here's what's fun. I was with all these Big Brother people because of the boxing exhibition that was going on. So Jessica and I were actually watching. Jessica Milagros, my Jessica. We were actually watching the competition from Arlington. And so she was watching as other people were on the wall. And we actually had a bit of a discussion about, all right, Derek F's up there. He says he's going to outlast Jessica and all of that. And Jessica's watching. No, he didn't outlast Jessica. He stayed up there, I think, 9 minutes or so. Jessica stayed up there a long time. And I don't remember what her time was. I just remember up on that wall thinking, oh my gosh, Jessica's got to fall. I don't want to be the first one off this wall. And it was hard. When you watch it on TV, it's difficult to see because the wall tilts, but you can't really see from the angle they do it just how much of a tilt it is. But from where we are, it probably tilts, I don't know, 45 degrees, 30 degrees, something like this. I mean, picture that, and you're holding on with just your hands, trying to hold on to it. Well, some of us have a little bit more weight, a little bit more mass, and it makes it just a little bit more difficult to hang on. But we did everything we could. And then they were getting the slime all over them and talking about how cold it was. I don't remember when we did it that it was so miserably cold in that particular competition with the water and stuff. I think I was just so focused on trying to hold on that it didn't bother me as much as maybe it normally would have. I know some people, we had big old balls that kept slamming into us that looked like ghosts because ours was a haunted theme. And so we had these big balls that slammed into us. I know Nicole and some of the others, they hated that. Me, I had a little cushioning. It didn't really affect me so much. But yeah, it was fun watching that competition. And we couldn't hear because it was so loud where we were at, but we could watch it. And a few people had computers out after they went away from the feeds and watched it and all of that. And so, yeah, it was pretty coall All right, let's see what's Moss saying, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that one because it's Julia saying, what do you think of Xavier's game? Julia, I've said before, I like Xavier's game. I think he had said at one point that he won that HOH, right? And then when he got done, he said, that's it. I've kind of made my mark. I made some impact and everything. But now I'm going to sit back and let other people do the work and go after each other. And I like it. I truly do. Excuse me. I've enjoyed Xavier's game. I feel like he's in a pretty good spot in that he's part of the Royal Flush and he's part of the Cookout Alliance. And so he's got a lot of people watching his back, not a lot of people that want to send him home. I mean, look at Xavier. That guy, he's charismatic. He's friendly. He's built relationships with so many people, but he's also seems like he's pretty athletic. He's in good shape. He works out. And yet I haven't heard him being talked about as a big threat and on a lot of people's radar the way other people have been. So he's doing something right. No, I like his game. Now, the only thing he may have a little bit of an issue with is that he's part of the Kings and they're considered such a, they no longer exist. We lost the teams, but they're kind of still there in spirit. And I do think people kind of, if he continues to work too close with other people in there, I think maybe that could affect him a little bit. He's got to maintain the relationships with everyone else in that house and make sure that mid-game onwards, he's still in good shape. But no, I think he's good. Now, the other thing too, people are still accusing him of being an attorney, right? Over and over and over again, you hear that being mentioned. And I think it's just the way he talks. We saw, what was it, a couple of days ago on the live feeds, and this isn't a spoiler. It's just them having fun. They're having fake trials. Some moth died in the backyard and one of his bucket hats disappeared. And so they had people playing courtroom and everything. And just the way that Xavier talks sometimes and the words he throws out that are almost legal terms, I can see how people, if they're paying attention, would say, you sure have this legal terminology down pretty good, Xavier. And you sure are a very logical and methodical person in the way you do this stuff. So yeah, I keep waiting to see if someone just absolutely says, no, I know for a fact you're attorney at this point. It hadn't happened yet, but we'll see. If people found out, I think it would hurt his game. I think people would be extremely nervous having an attorney against them in a final 2 jury vote. So for his game, I think he needs to absolutely keep that secret, deny it no matter what comes out, deny, and then deny some more, because otherwise it's not going to be good for him. Marion says, do they tell you what you can and cannot wear when going into competition? Kind of. Here's what they do, Marion. They will come on, I don't know, a couple hours maybe before the live show, and they'll say, house guest, you've got costumes in the storage room. So go put those on. So that usually happens just a little bit before the live show, like 30 minutes ahead of time, 45 minutes. It seems like it's pretty quick. And if you go in there, sometimes you're wearing some funky little, something like lederhosen or bag capes or whatever. Y'all seen the uniforms we wear, the costumes. So sometimes they'll do that, but there's other times where production will come over the loudspeakers and say, house guest, tonight you need to wear something athletic. You'll be moving around a bit. You'll wear good shoes that you can move around in as well, because you'll be needing to move around quite a bit outside. So make sure you wear something appropriate for that. And Holly and I would typically say, well, how about glasses? Do we need to put contacts in, or can we just wear our glasses? And sometimes they'd say, you may want to wear contacts. And then we'd think, oh, something's going to be hitting us, or stuff hitting us, slime or something like that. Other times they'd say, nah, just make sure it's secured a little bit. But then sometimes they also would do things like this. They'd say, oh, you can wear whatever you want. It's not really going to matter tonight, house guests. Just wear whatever. And when that happened, that's when we'd say, oh, it's going to be just standing in those boxes, answering memory questions or doing something like that. So we always spent a lot of time just based on what we were told to wear, trying to figure out what maybe was going to happen in the competition. And so, no, they don't tell us exactly what to wear, but they give us a general idea about what kind you probably should be wearing. Now, did y'all notice on Thursday night on that eviction episode, Hannah and everyone else was wearing athletic gear because they're going up on the wall. Whitney was not dressed up, prepared to go on a wall competition. If they'd had some kind of flip and Whitney stayed in the house, she would have been in trouble standing up on the wall. I don't remember if she had heels on or not, but she would have been in trouble because she was not dressed for that particular competition. So as soon as I saw that, I mean, we knew it was going to be pretty much unanimous anyway. But as soon as I knew that, I knew that Whitney knew for 100% that she was going home, and she didn't even bother to dress up. I remember Kat at one point, was it Kat? I think it was Kat, who really debated back and forth, saying that she was thinking she was going to go home when she was up against me. So she wanted to dress up because she really wanted to see Julie Chen dressed up in very nice clothing and all that. But it was just close enough that she wasn't 100% sure. She'd already seen me blindsided once. So she decided that she was going to go ahead and just dress up in the lederhosen and everything that we had for that slip and slide competition. So then she's upset that when she got evicted, she had to go talk to Julie wearing that clothing instead of something nice and fancy. So yeah, you kind of, even watching the show, you sometimes can figure. And I always do that, guys. Whenever I watch on the live eviction shows, as soon as they show the contestants, I'm looking at their shoes to see if they're wearing athletic shoes, if they're wearing all the same shoes, because that's the other thing. Sometimes as part of our costume, we all are given shoes and they're all the same black shoes to wear. And they always would say, you can wear those or you can switch out to something else, but we've got shoes if you want, just to make sure that everyone had a nice grip and was comfortable and everything else. Julia, have you ever been asked to be on Dancing with the Stars? No, I haven't. If they ask me, would I say yes? Well, sure, I guess so. But I probably wouldn't expect to be there the entire time. Yeah, maybe would get a make sure that I just had a couple of days of hotel reserved and then pop on back. I don't know. Yeah, sure, I can do it. But no, they have not asked me to be on Dancing with the Stars. They're doing the Lindy Hop. Yeah. I'd come up with my own dance routine, right? There's something they'd never seen before and probably never see again. I'll tell you this, I'd have fun with it. I don't know if I'd last a long time, but I would have fun doing it. Joy saying, looking forward to America's Twist coming up on Thursday. As am I, and we don't know what it is. You know what? During my season, we had America's Twist. We had that field camp where y'all picked 3 people to go compete. One person got safety. One person went up as a third nom, and one person had a punishment. And we knew that wasn't a good thing. We knew if you got picked for that, it wasn't because America loved you and thought you were just a wonderful person. So no one wanted to get picked. But as soon as it happened, Sis and Christy and Jackson, all 3 were said, "Oh, we're hated. We're just hated out there." And we were saying, "No, they probably picked you because they love you." Yeah, don't assume that. We knew. We all knew. But yeah, America's Twist on Thursday, and we don't know what it is. And I don't know. I mean, are we going to vote to give someone a power? Are we going to vote to take away a power or give someone safety? It's going to be, I assume, that this is the last person who's pre-jury, that from this point on, it's going to be the jury phase. So I think it's not just coincidental. The fact that whatever America's Twist is starting just as we get to the jury phase itself. I think those two tie in together somehow. I don't know if it's a battle back or an extra. I don't know. And there's a part, I was going to say I don't care. I do care. I very much care. But whatever it is, I just like the fact that we get to participate a little bit. And that's dangerous. I mean, as a viewer, I like seeing that. Being in the house, it scared me to death. I mean, I felt like while I was in there that I was hoping that people didn't hate me. And it's nice to get some confirmation that you, if someone gives you something nice, then you think, okay, well, maybe I'm doing okay. So it's nice while you're in the house, but you try to read everything into any little something that comes about. So when these house guests find out America's voted on whatever it is and they see the results of it, they're going to try to read all of that into, picture it. If Derek F thinks that he's just, everyone's in love with him and he doesn't get awarded some special power, then he's immediately going to think, well, maybe I'm not getting the edit that I think I am, and vice versa. So yeah, it really does a number on the house guests in the house when they start knowing that America has input and they can't figure out just maybe what they mean when they do it. What else going on? James Conner, the veto took forever, kept me up all night on Saturday. Yeah, me too. We were watching it, just kept thinking, God, a few of them stayed up there forever, right? They're athletic. These house guests are doing fantastic. Parker, who did you meet at the fight? All right, we'll go back to Big Brother throughout this entire show. But yeah, let's talk about the Big Brother fight. And for those of you who don't know, they had up in Arlington, Texas, a Big Brother boxing exhibition that took place between Big Brother contestants from the United States versus Big Brother contestants from Canada. And it was so cool. Thursday, they had a weigh-in, a press conference. So I drove up there, got there just in time, and came in and saw all these people. Because y'all got to remember, right after I did Big Brother, I had a couple of months where I was able to kind of get out and about and visit and meet people, which was cool. But then COVID came along 6 months after I got through the show, 5 months where I shut everything down. And so I really didn't get the chance to go out and visit. I didn't get a chance to do the Hearts of Reality fundraising that was over in Florida that so many reality TV people do. So I missed out on a lot of that. But they finally had the Big Brother boxing exhibition, and so I showed up at that, and it was so much fun. They did a press conference. Actually, if you go out to my Instagram Live account, you can find the press conferences is out there on one of my posts, the video. It's about an hour long or so. But so much fun. I met all these people. After we got done doing that, everyone hung out at the hotel. Then we all went to the hotel bar / restaurant and watched the Big Brother live episode that night, and then just hung out all night long, just visiting with each other and all of that. And then we did the competition. The actual boxing match was Friday. Went to a bar after that and hung out some more and just had a blast. So who did I meet? Well, I met a whole lot of people, and I'm going to miss people if I try to do it all. But I met, let's see, who all? Well, let's talk about the boxers first. We had Fessy and KC. We had Enzo. We had Jeremy Maguire. Nick from my season fought. I can't believe forgot that. Rockstar fought. Who else? I know there's more. From the other side, we had Adam Pike and John Party and Maddie, and Victoria fought KC. Who else? Dallas Cormier. I know I'm missing a few out here or there. So we had a lot of the boxers. I actually got an official role. I got to be the ring girl escort. So we had ring girls just like every other boxing match. And the ring girls were Jessica Milagros, Julie Vu from Big Brother Canada last season, for those of you who don't watch that, and Spicy V, Victoria from Big Brother Canada last season as well. So they were the 3 ring girls. I was the person that was there to help them up the steps, because these are steep steps, help them up the steps, pull the ropes out so they could step inside, walk around there round 1, round 2, round 3, and then come back out, help them down. So the 3 of them were there. Who else did I meet? I met Spencer, Lane Edinburgh, David Alexander was there. I was so happy to see David. I'd been a long time since I'd seen David, so I saw David. Who else? The Willett sisters were there. Lena Davies was there. Who else? Then I met Meg from, I can't remember what season Meg was from. Meg's actually engaged to Mike Holloway, who won Survivor a few years back. So that was cool. Hayden Voss was there. I think I said Enzo was boxing, right? If not, Enzo was boxing also. He was the older guy of the group, so I was especially cheering on Enzo. The bunch of challenge people. Nani was there. Big T, I got a picture of Big T as well. Corey and Nelson. I think Tori was there also. So a lot of the challenge people were there. And Lord, I know I'm missing so many people. I took so many pictures. I didn't want to post them all at once, but I'm going to start posting them before long. But yeah, that was an amazing couple of evenings. So we did the fight, and that took place 9 fights total, and they were like 3 rounds each. So it was hardcore stuff, and it was on pay-per-view and all. And they had they did that. And I'm trying to think, when we got done with that, we then went to a bar just down the road there in Arlington, Texas, and just hung out. And again, it's just a fun way to spend a lot of the time meeting a whole lot of people I hadn't met before. So had a blast doing it. Lillian Sanchez, what did you do? Yeah, we'll go back to the fighting as well here in a second. Lillian said, what did you do with the items that Big Brother gave you when you went home? Well, here's the deal. One, I wanted to keep all those items. I didn't want to lose them. They meant so much to me. BB comics, stuff like that. You don't want to not take it home. So I packed all of that stuff in my suitcase when I got evicted. And I thought I was so smart that I just would pack that away and get to keep it. But couldn't do that because when you go in the house, when we go in the house, everything we take in is inspected. If they pull everything out, look at it. Make sure that you're not coming in there with some cell phone or something like that, or radio or whatever. But also they're wanting to make sure there's no clothing that messes up the cameras, things like that. Well, when you leave, they do the same thing. They look through everything you've got, and anything that you don't have that you shouldn't take out with you, they pull out and they hold on to it. And that includes all the uniforms or the costumes. So when I got my suitcase and I looked in there and realized they were all gone, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. But the beauty is that after the season's over, after they're not worried about you having all this stuff during the season, they send you a big goodie box that had everything. It had my BB comics in it. It had all my outfits, my costumes in it. one of the little chips that you pull for veto with your name on it, cast photos. They were signed by everyone. There were a lot of fun stuff. So what did I do with it? Well, most of it I kept. There are a couple of things I gave to Hearts of Reality for like a little charity. They auctioned off one of the BB comics, and the person who won it wasn't here in this area, but I sent us a card signing, authenticating it, and things like that. And so no, I gave away some of it, and then a lot of it I've held on to, and it's very special to me, especially like my key that I found my key to get into the Big Brother house. I'm gonna frame that and just hold on to it forever. So yeah, it's they sent us a lot of really cool stuff. So what else we got? Weston Evans, did Julie give you a Bible in your season? And thought it was neat, something she did. Wonder if she does every year. She didn't do it during our season. That's cool. I never actually heard that, Weston, but no, she didn't. I actually brought a Bible into the house with me, and my son gave it to me for my birthday, which was just a few months before I went into the house. But yeah, I brought a Bible with me, and then the other thing y'all may or may not realize, there's a house Bible in there that every year it's the same one. So it's kind of cool when I watch people reading it, even this season or last season, knowing that's the same one I had and the same one I looked at from a long time ago. So they've got that, and so everyone can read it. And a lot of people, when you're in there, when there's nothing to read, you run out of cereal boxes to read. So even people that aren't overtly religious still will look at the Bible and read through. And so I read some of that. It was really, I don't know if y'all know this. I actually, while I was in there, I asked if they would give us some other religious documents. The Torah, the Quran, the other books, just because I thought, well, if I'm in here and I'm stuck, I don't have a lot nothing to read. I'd love to read some of this other stuff and see if I can learn a little bit about other peoples, other cultures, and all of that. But they didn't do it. They said, nah, the only thing that you can read, you have to bring in with you, except for that one Bible is in there. So I was like, I tried. It would have been interesting. I always trying to educate myself, learn a little bit more with everything I do. But yeah, so no, she did not give it to me. But maybe it's just because I already brought one in when I brought with me. I still have it. I hold on to that one forever. All right, so Blair Thomas. Why do people want to make it to jury? Would rather go home? Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's a perception standpoint. If you don't make it to jury, you're probably a little bit worried that you're not going to be considered to have really played the game, that people will have forgotten about you, that you don't get to have some say in who wins the final deal, the big money at the end of it. But there's some people, like Whitney had said, hey, if I'm going to go, I'd rather go before jury so I can get back to my kids. But you've got to be careful, because that can be used as a weapon against you as well. I know Sam from my season, he had his kids at home, and I certainly had people whispering to me saying, hey, Cliff, Sam's not in a good spot. The big alliance is going against him anyway. Wouldn't you think it'd make more sense to send him home now rather than wait 1 week and then send him home? Now he's stuck in jury and he's away from his family for that much longer. So some people will try to use that as an excuse of why you need to go a little bit earlier. And so you got to be a little careful on that. But yeah, I think there's some people who truly do think if I'm not staying to the very end winning the big money, send me to the house. Others may be just the opposite of saying, hey, I don't have anything else to do. There's people that quit their jobs in order to go on the show. And for them, they may decide that, hey, I don't mind sitting around, because we get paid a little bit while we're in the house. And I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but we get a little bit every week we're in the house. And so if you're in jury, you can go hang around at a really fancy house with swimming pools and get free food and just hang around doing nothing and get a little change every week. There are a lot of people that are happy to do that for no reason other than just a nice way to spend the summer. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of people that say, just get me to jury. And they've changed that a little bit. They've tried to make it a little more incentive to get a little bit further down the game. But yeah, you still hear that from a lot of people. Lawrence Santiago, is there any way to write anything down? No. Well, no, not really. When it was my son's birthday, I used rice. I had a black t-shirt, and I used that as kind of the canvas, and I used rice to spell out Happy B-Day, Dan, love you. So I think something like that. I should put SKD 143. I'm not sure maybe I did. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the pictures. But I did that, and they let me get away with it. I think even that maybe was not officially allowed in the rules. You know, you can't use anything to write things down, but I did it, and because it's his birthday, because it wasn't strategy, I wasn't using it to try to memorize stuff or whatever. They were okay with it. But then later people had other birthdays, and instead of using rice, they started using, we had little sports drinks, and they would take that sports drink powder, mix it with a little water, and you could almost use it like paint. And then they would paint messages on cardboard, on cereal boxes. And so a couple of people did that, and Big Brother eventually called us out and said, nah, you can't do that. That's going too far, guys. You can't do that. So no, the officially, you can't write anything down. If you want to use chess pieces, if you want to take M&Ms and use that to figure out your days or something, that's allowed, but you can't scratch stuff on the walls or do anything that represents any type of writing. That goes against the rules. So that's it. Mark Taylor, any idea what the next HOH will be? No, I've heard some people talk about a mental competition, which maybe I could see that. We had the endurance, so we won't have another one of those. But I'll tell you this, you know what kind of competition I would love to see right now? I'd love to see one where two people go up, compete. They have to call someone else out to come up and compete, where basically you're forced to expose your alliances and who you're working with and everything else. Now that we've got the Royal Flush, now that we've got the cookout, I'd really love to see a situation where you have to pick the next two people to compete and do it over and over again. That would be a fun one. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see, they used to have the counting carnivals where you see a little basket of oranges, and then you have to say, all right, how big is this big dump truck filled with oranges, and try to do things like that. So I don't know, there's a few like that I could possibly see happening. Let's see what's on here. Don Bud, you know who my favorite contestant is? Yes, I know who your favorite contestant is, Don. And Claire's doing pretty well. She still has that safety now starting next week. Once they get it to jury, it's a whole new ball game. But she's still tight with Tiffany, so I think she's in a good spot. We'll see though. Well, everything changes. Oh yeah, and I see someone mentioning Keisha's birthday. Yeah, happy birthday to Sarah Beth. It was Sarah Beth's birthday today. I know they sang happy birthday to her and fixed her, I think not a cake, but a pie, which kind of surprised me, because if it's your birthday in the house, they tend to give you, we'll just go in the storage room. There'll be a couple of cake mixes just so that the house guests can fix a birthday cake for you. And I think they typically try to give the cake of the flavor or the type that you list as your favorite before you go into the house and things like that. But I don't know, maybe Sarah Beth doesn't like cake, and so they fixed a pie for her instead, because I think it was a pie. Let's see what it was. Mark Taylor, what's your comp? I'm sorry, Mark. I'm trying. Let me go back. I lost the thing. Let's see. Favorite comp? What yours is when you run on ice. Sorry, I'm trying to stay caught up on these. And it says it's Crisco, not ice. Brian says. Yeah, Crisco or lard or something like that. I don't know why. When we did that slip and slide, yeah, it was a fun competition, except that I was really worried about it because I had just told the other side of the house I would go against Mickey if I won HOH. And now I see a competition that is so well designed for Mickey going back and forth. I thought, oh my God, that's not good. I'm not winning this HOH. Mickey's probably going to win it. Is he going to hold it against me? Fortunately, he didn't. He had bigger targets at the time, so I was fine. But yeah, it wasn't actually ice that we were sliding on. It was some kind of lard or Crisco or something. Yeah, it was every bit as slippery as ice was, though. I tell you what, it was so frustrating on that particular competition where I would start running back up the ramp, and I would get within just a foot or so of the end, and I'd feel my feet sliding backwards, and I'd have to drop, trying to hope that I could create enough friction that I could just slowly inch my way up that last little bit, reach out and grab the column, pull myself up. And I think I was able to all but once. One time I actually had to go back the other way because I just couldn't make it. But yeah, it was so slippery, so incredibly. And the same with the slime. That stuff we get sprayed with, it's messy, but it is also, it's like dishwashing soap. It is so slippery you can't grip on anything. And sorry, I think what you're asking, I missed it because the competition. What was your favorite competition? I like the competitions that aren't so one-sided that only the strongest person can win, or only the most petite person can win. I like one that really is kind of up for anyone. My favorite, even though I didn't win it, I've said this before, I like the jet ski competition where we had to take all our clothes off while pushing buttons and holding them down. Now, I will say, that's probably not a competition designed for someone with a dad bod like me, right? I mean, I don't get the clothes off quite as fast as some of these people like Kat and some of the others that are dancers and very limber and things like that. But I enjoyed it because it just seemed to be very much what I expect from a Big Brother type show. The other one I really enjoyed was called Coral Grief, with a bunch of stuffed animals that you had to hang on a mobile, and you had to hang it all without any of it falling and then go hit a buzzer. I don't curse. I just don't, because I've been, well, put me out in the oil field where it's part of the job and you do it. But around family and stuff or on national TV, I don't curse. That's probably the only time that I was in that house doing that competition where there may have been a few choice words that came out of my mouth, because it was incredibly frustrating. I came so close to winning it a couple times and it never quite worked out. But yeah, I love that competition as well. Lawrence, what are Derek F's chances of winning second place? Oh, that's a good thought. Because he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna win it all, because he hadn't done anything to build up his resume. Could Derek F go in as a new Victoria like she did in season 16? Oh, I love that. I hadn't thought about that. I'm gonna have to think some more on that, but that makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, because we're gonna reach a point where people are gonna start thinking about, do I get rid of people who are the biggest threats and hold on to the people that I think I can beat? Well, everyone's going to think that you can beat Derek F at this point in time, I think, right? Don't you? I would think so, because he hadn't done anything. He's part of the former Jokers, so he's not really in the loop from a strategy standpoint. From a competition standpoint, he hasn't done anything to suggest that he's really going to win any competitions. He's got decent relationships with most people. I mean, he's upset with a few here and there, Sarah Beth and one or two others, but now he's kind of a very unthreatening person in the house. Everyone's comfortable, I think, having him around because he's a nice enough guy, but they don't probably feel threatened by him. So yeah, no, I think that's a very legitimate point that I'm going to steal it from you, if you don't mind, because I agree with that. Now you do run into the risk that when you're at some point, people are going to say, oh my God, I've got to get him out, because anyone is going to take Derek F before they take me. And everyone's probably thinking the same thing. So if you get to a point in the game, there may be enough people that say, look, let's just have like a 1 week truce. They don't really say that out loud. It's not spoken, but it's just kind of this implicit of, well, you know, why are we going at each other? Well, this week, someone will take the chance, say, I'm putting up Derek F, and everyone else will say, well, that's an easy week. Let's just send him up. So he runs that chance that he may not make it to the end because he's considered such an easy victor at the end, and no one wants to face that. So we've had seasons like that happen, and that could be the case with Derek F. But no, I think there's zero chance that he won't. I shouldn't say zero. I think there's like a 0.01 chance that he could actually win it. He may go on some wild comp streak. He may win the rest of the HOHs and just be considered the most dominant player in Big Brother history. I don't think so, but yeah, expect the unexpected, right? But no, I think he could make it second place. I think that's valid. I do see him going far. Yeah, I think so. I could see him going fairly far in the game. Amanda Lowe, I would have hated all of the whipped cream from all of the pies. Oh, Amanda, here's the thing. Those pies, I mean, the pies they weren't fun. You get slammed in the face. The pies were nothing but graham cracker crust. I think graham cracker, some kind of crust and whipped cream, and slam each other in the face. The pies and getting smashed in the face, whatever. You know, it was all right. It was fun when it started. After a while, not so much. The hard part about those things, though, was that one, the cleanup was horrible because those things would go everywhere. So you would just be cleaning on, and that floor would get so slippery from just, I guess, the grease of the whipped cream. I don't know. But the other part was that you never did get it all cleaned up completely from the floors, from your body, either one. And that whipped cream, I don't know what it was, but after about an hour or so, it would start going sour, and it smelled so bad. It was so horrible. That smell in the whole house was miserable. I had already won HOH, and so that I'd been given some bath wash, really cool smelling bath wash as part of my HOH basket. So I would take a little bit of that after I got smashed with a pie and just stick it under my nose just to create a little bit of a perfume scent, just to get rid of the horrible sour cream smell or whipped cream smell that was in the house. That was a miserable part of it. We were so fed up with it at the end. Plus, they started doing things, making us smash people in the face at 3 o'clock in the morning, which you didn't want to get people mad at you. I mean, that's the last thing I wanted, was to have my position in the house threatened because someone was saying, Cliff hit me at 3 in the morning with a pie. I'm voting that sucker out, which was a very real fear. Mark Taylor, is Zingbot real? Well, yeah, he's real. Of course he's real. Why? He comes from the land of Zingbots, right? You know, you never been to Zingland? No, yeah, he's real. I mean, he's real in that he's a real physical presence that comes into the house, and we sit there and listen to him zing us and wondering what he's going to say. And he's big. I didn't realize, I should have, as many seasons I've watched, but yeah, when he's standing there in front of you, he towers up there. He's a pretty tall zinger. And now he comes in. It's pretty much just like you see on TV. We're sitting around, and all of a sudden the diary room door opens, and here comes Zingbot, and he's walking towards you, and we kind of huddle around and then just wait, and then the zings start getting thrown out. So yeah, no, he's absolutely real, and that was cool. We have all these milestones when you're high school. Just let me get to jury. We talked about that before. And then let me just get to the wall competition. Let's get the Zingbot. You try to, because it's so long, 99 days, you try to split up that whole season into little chunks that you can comprehend, saying, it's going to drive me bonkers if I have to think that I'm going to be in this house another 40 days. But if I just think about one more week and I'm on jury, well, that's okay. That 1 week I can handle. And then we got a double eviction coming up. Surely it's just another week or two and I'll be past the double eviction. So you do a lot of that. Ben Crossover, which non-cookout member do you think has the best shot at winning? Ooh, good question. I would say Claire, perhaps, except I feel like Tiffany's worried about what Claire knows about Tiffany's game. And as a result of it, I think Tiffany may find an excuse at some point to send Claire out the door. I don't think it's going to happen super fast, though. I'm trying to think who else. Derek X, I think he's got too much of a target on him. I love him. He's a great player. Derek X very well could win America's favorite player, right? I mean, I think that's feasible. I really like him. I think he's played a good game so far, considering that he was a target week 1. So I like Derek X, but I feel like he's a little too big of a target, and someone's going to take him out before too long. Sarah Beth is in a little bit of danger, I think, if not this week, next week, or week after. Brittany, as much as I love Brittany, I don't think she will make it far enough to go up against a cookout member. I may say Claire. I think that's a reasonable choice. Alyssa and Christian, probably not that far. But again, what do I know, right? But no, I think I'll go with Claire unless someone convinces me otherwise. I think she could be the one that has the best chance that's not a cookout member of making it to the end. And I don't know how good a chance that is. This Cookout Alliance, I think they're watching out for each other. Now, we've seen some fractures. We've seen a little friction here and there. Tiffany and Kylan have talked a little bit, some accusations about how close does Kylan is he with Sarah Beth and some things like that. So I don't know. Just because the Cookout Alliance is so tight right now, when we get just towards the very end and there's only a few non-cookout people left in the Cookout Alliance, there's going to be some people jumping the gun. I really think there's going to be some people saying, well, I know I'm at the bottom of the pecking order within the Cookout Alliance. I better grab these last couple of people that aren't part of the alliance, get them on my side, because that's the only chance I've got. So I could see once you get down to the final 7 or final 8, some stuff blowing up, and you may have a couple of non-alliance members that sneak in as a result of that. We'll see. That may change. They may stay strong, but I could see that happening. Mark Taylor saying, what was the worst competition? Mine is when they turn over the house for the veto. Yeah, hide and go veto was tough. We actually had said, no one mess with the kitchen. Don't pour out milk and cereal and all of that. And we all agreed and we all honored that, which was nice. If someone hadn't honored that, we would have booted them immediately. And I think everyone knew that. So yeah, that was a tough competition. But what's my least favorite competition? You know what? I may say it's the very first veto competition that I ever participated in. And that was the one where I'm sure y'all seen it, where we had to try to catch salad with a bunch of, I don't know, tomatoes or something in it, and then try to catch giant meatballs that were being launched at us, and slide across a table and catch strawberries. And it was my least favorite only because I did so completely horribly bad at it. As soon as a salad dressing and salad came on the very first round of that comp, I had contact lenses in. It got all in my eyes. I had to take my contacts out. From that point on, I couldn't see anything. I got 0 points scored, but there were, I think, 3 or 4 of us that didn't get any points. I know Nicole competed, didn't get any points. Kat didn't get any points. I didn't get any points. Sam and Jack and Christy, I think, were the other, and they caught maybe a strawberry at the end. But yeah, I thought that competition was harder than they thought it was going to be. Maybe we were just worse than they thought we were going to be. But I didn't particularly like that competition at all. The other competition that I really did not like was the one that got me evicted. The win it and you're in it veto competition at the very end with the giant slingshots where you're launching at the giant targets of everyone's faces, shooting them down. I did not like that one. Not just because of the competition, or not because of the competition, but because when I competed on that, I was the second person to go, and it was about 2:00 in the afternoon, and it was brutally hot. It was probably in the high 90s, I got to say. And I'm a Texas guy. I can handle the heat, but I have never tried to do something in such horribly hot conditions. And I was so exhausted by the time I got done with that thing, I could barely move. I mean, I was falling over when we got done with it. So that was the most strenuous, the most difficult, just in terms of pure physical competitiveness to do that last veto competition. And if I'd won it, I could have made it to the final 3. And I think you always want to think that you got a good chance if you make it to that far. So I always say I was just like one competition away from maybe getting into the finals and winning the whole thing. But, it is what it is. And Window Witties, OTEV is the best. Yeah, how do I leave out OTEV? When we walked outside and we saw OTEV in the backyard, that's so cool. Not only knowing that we were doing OTEV, but that I was actually getting to compete on it. I was picked that week. Well, I wasn't picked. I was on the block that week. Kat and I were both on the block. So yeah, it was what an iconic competition. And then we had our whole hallmark moment. I messed up my leg. Kat grabbed the rope ahead of me, and she's crying, and I'm telling her to go on and all that. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. And it's curious. I saw all these house guests from past seasons this past weekend, and I think some of the things that people pointed out to me the most, I had a lot of people say, "Oh, Cliff Notes." There's a lot of people knew my Cliff Notes, and I had several people talk about OTEV and competing with Kat and that whole little situation that happened with that. So yeah, I can't believe I forgot about OTEV. Julia is saying, were you careful in your goodbye messages to people that you knew you were going to be in jury? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I knew they were going to be casting a vote at the end, and I was hoping I'd be final too. So yeah, I definitely had different goodbye messages pre-jury versus post-jury. For example, when we sent out Bella out the door, and I didn't want to send Bella out. I wanted to send Jack out, but Christy and her diamond power veto just screwed my whole HOH up. But anyway, Bella, she had kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, because she had said earlier, "Oh, Cliff, if you're willing to be a pawn for a whole lot of times over the next few weeks, I think Nick and I could probably get you to jury." I was like, well, I don't want to just go to jury. I didn't come here just to go to jury, Bella, but you can't say that. She told me that, and I'm like, oh, that'd be I'd be so grateful if you could just get me to jury. That's perfect, Bella. I appreciate it. So she told me that, and I kind of walked away saying, "Nah, you're so full of yourself. I'm going to go a whole lot more longer than jury." And so her goodbye message, I actually had said something along the lines of, "Well, I know you promised you could get me to jury, and I'm sorry I couldn't do the same thing to you, but best wishes going forward. Bye." And so I was a little bit, not crass, I was just a little short with it, just to have fun. I love Bella, and I hope she doesn't take it personal. But I would have never said that with the goodbye messages once people made it to jury. Every single one. I remember one like Nick. I remember saying something along the lines of, "Nick, I'm sorry that you're gone. I was trying to do everything I could to keep you in the house, but once I realized that Tommy didn't want to keep you, my vote didn't matter. It was going to go against you no matter what, so I have to vote with the house, and I am sorry. If it was up to me, I would have kept you, Nick. You know that, right?" Well, that was a low hooey. I was ready to get rid of Nick as well, because I felt like he was too tight with too many people. So I have a feeling Tommy probably blamed it on me. I blamed it on Tommy. And I talked to Nick a lot. I had fun talking to Nick this weekend. We talked a little bit about our season, Big Brother, because he's watched the episodes as well. And so we talked a little bit about when I sent Bella out the door and all the diary room sessions. And Nick was saying, yeah, I didn't realize so many people were talking against me and worried about me and all of that. So, yeah, you learn all kinds of stuff. It's always fun talking Big Brother with other people that were in the season with you. And David and I talked about it a little bit as well. That's always a lot of fun. So we've got that. All right, what else? Chaz saying, are you coming to the new, are you covering the new season of the challenge again? Chaz, I'd love to, but no, I'm not going to do it this season. I did it last season, but the reality is doing these recaps for Big Brother, and I've got a job a real world job that I have to cover, and it's just not enough hours in the day. So I'm going to take a break from this season of the challenge. I may come back. I may do it again later, but for right now, no, I'm not going to do it. All right, we're getting ready to shut down because I got a very special announcement, and I do not want to miss out on this one. Let me look at the comments real quick. Let's see. All right. Ooh, well, yeah. If I start reading the comments, trying to catch up on those, it'll take forever. Who's that? Ted said Tiffany's good at this game. Yeah, Blair, I agree. She's made this game. But let me move on because I got 5 minutes left, 4 minutes left. Very special announcement. Y'all know I've done this show. I think I'm on episode 38 or so, and I did a whole lot of these on TV Co as well. But over that time, I haven't had a whole lot of guests on my show. But I had my son and my daughter, Daniel and Kelly, a while back, and I had a blast talking to them, getting their perspective. A lot of fun. But I decided that as much as I love to hear myself talk, as much as I love doing this show, I want to change it up a little bit next week. And as part of that, I'm bringing in a special guest to talk, not just Big Brother, but I'm sure Big Brother will indeed be talked about. But bringing in next week, my ride or die in the game of Big Brother, Nicole Anthony. Yeah, Nicole, I talked to her about it, and Nicole's coming on next week. I'm going to drag her in for the whole hour. I hope I don't have to drag her in. I hope she comes in willingly. I think so. But now Nicole's coming in with me, and we're going to talk. We're going to talk Big Brother. She's been watching it. I don't know if she's watched it quite as much as I have with regards to live feeds and stuff. She's taking a little bribe. I mean, she lived Big Brother for the last 2 seasons. So, but we'll talk Big Brother. We'll talk about everything that's going on in her life. She's got all kinds of stuff. I don't want. Well, y'all probably know anyway. But yeah, a lot of things going on in Nicole Anthony's life: work, relationships, travels, all kinds of stuff. So we're going to cover every bit of it, and I'm so excited. We talk quite a bit, either by texting or DM or the occasional phone call or whatever. But now I'm looking forward to actually getting her onto my show. So y'all come up with questions that you may have for Nicole. Anything you want to talk, we'll keep the topics pretty wide open while she's in here. But yeah, I'm excited. Thank you, man. Saying you two were my favorites. Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. I was so lucky. I was so fortunate to have her as my duo inside that house. It just, I didn't plan it on day one. But as I'm working in the house, you quickly realize who you can trust and who you can't trust. Well, to some degree, obviously I trusted some of the wrong people, right? But Nicole, I never doubted that whatsoever. And I'm happy to have her on here. And we're going to send out plenty of reminders between now and then. I think she'll talk about some of her hangouts and everything also. But yeah, so Nicole's coming on. I'm already just smiling and happy thinking about it. And we're going to talk all kinds of things about Big Brother and just life in general. I got all kinds of questions to ask her. See what she's been up to, because I know she's been up to a lot. All right, what else is going on? Yeah, is Cliff the guest host? I guess I'm the guest host. I guess I'm the host, and she'll be the guest, right? So, yeah, I think so. All right, what else do we have? Carol saying, well, I was in Texas a few weeks ago. Finally ate at Whataburger. Really liked it. Well, congratulations. Now you got to come back, right? All right, guys, it is 8 o'clock, and I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. But thank y'all for hanging out with me. I love talking Big Brother. I love to watch my Instagrams. I'm going to be posting pictures and things like that of the fights, because it was so much fun visiting with all the old former Big Brother contestants. A lot of fun. But guys, y'all have a fantastic Monday. Enjoy the rest of the week. Again, next week, August 16th, I'm going to have Nicole on here, and we're just going to have a fine old time, and I want all the questions y'all can throw at us, and we'll cover everything we can. Guys, have a great week. I will talk to y'all later. SKD143. Love my wife, love my kids, love all you reality fans out there. Love all of y'all who come out here and support me as well. Thank you so much. Hugs to all. Cheers, guys. Bye.